Hello everyone and welcome to the Bodhi Academy. My name is Prachi Naik and this is our series of one-shot videos. In today's video, I'll be covering part 2 of 11th Biology chapter 2, that is biological classification. Okay, so in the last chapter, we had covered meaning and importance of classification, then the different systems of classification like the earlier systems, the modern systems. After that we had also covered kingdom Monera and kingdom Protista. Okay, so in today's video I'll be covering the topics, that is kingdom fungi, kingdom plantae, kingdom animalia, viruses, viroids, prions and lichens. Okay, so we'll start with kingdom fungi. So if I take a piece of bread and if I keep it outside for some days, what will happen? There will be some whitish cottony thing growing on that, right? And what is it? It is fungus. Okay, so today we'll be learning about kingdom fungi, that is the fungus. Okay, then the first we'll see the characteristics of kingdom fungi. Okay, so these are heterotrophic organisms, meaning they cannot produce their own food, so they depend on others for their food, so they depend upon others for food. Okay, then they show a great diversity in morphology and habitat, meaning they are of different they are of different types, shapes, sizes. Okay, and also they live in different places, like some will be growing in soil, some will be there in our hands also. Okay, so they show great diversity in habitats, that is the place wherein they live, and also in their morphology, meaning how they are, how they look, how they appear. Okay, then they are usually multicellular and filamentous, except one, that is yeast, which is unicellular organism, Okay, it is the only fungus which is unicellular. Okay, after that they are cosmopolitan. Now what is the meaning of cosmopolitan? It is these funguses, as I told you, they are found like everywhere. They will be present on our hands, they will be present in the soil, in the air. Okay, so they are cosmopolitan, that is they are found everywhere. Now they prefer to grow in warm and humid conditions. Okay, so I had in the beginning I had taken one example of a bread, right? So if you keep that bread outside, it will catch fungus. Okay, but if that same bread, if you keep inside a fridge, what will happen? Will there be a growth of fungus? No. Why do we keep our food inside the refrigerator? So that it doesn't spoil, it doesn't get fungus or any other microbe, right? So basically what happens is when we keep it in a lower temperature, the fungus cannot grow on it. Okay, so fungus needs moist, humid conditions to grow. Okay, then most of them are saprophytes, but they can be parasitic. Most of them are saprophytes. Saprophytes meaning they feed on other dead decaying organisms, dead decaying matter for their food. Okay, and some of them are parasitic, meaning they need a host. They live inside a host, inside or outside, so they live on a host. They need a host to survive. Okay, after that some of them show some of them are symbionts, that is they show symbiotic association, that is a mutual association between it can be lichens, that is a mutual association between the fungus and the algae. Algae are the small aquatic plants. Okay, so here both the organism, that is the algae as well as the fungi, both of them get benefited. Okay, and the other example of symbiotic association is mycorrhiza. So here the fungus, it makes association with the roots of the higher plants. Okay, so here also there will be mutual benefits. So the fungus, it will be attached to the roots of the higher plants, and it will help the plant for absorption of the food. Also in return, the roots will give that fungus shelter to stay and also food. Okay, then now we'll see the structure of fungi. Okay, so the basic thing of fungi is hyphae. Okay, so hyphae, it is one thin slender structure. Okay, it is one portion, one piece, one small piece of the fungi is hyphae. Now this hyphae together, when many hyphae come together and they form a network, okay, it is called as what? Mycelium. See here, branched hyphae, meaning many hyphae, when they come together they will form a network which is called as a mycelium. Okay, now there are more two types of hyphae, septate and cenocytic hyphae. Okay, so septate meaning when the hyphae is divided into compartments. See, there are lines between them, no? So they are divided into compartments, and each compartment, okay, will have a nucleus, and this part, the one which is the wall which is dividing it, is called as what? Septum. Okay, so this is called as septate hyphae. Then there is something called as cenocytic hyphae. So cenocytic hyphae meaning it will be like a long tube of hyphae without septum. So here there will be no compartments like the septate hyphae, and it is called as multinucleated cenocytic hyphae, meaning as there are no compartments, all the nucleus, they are just there in the long tube, they are just there. Okay, so that is why it is called as multinucleated cenocytic hyphae. Okay, now we'll see reproduction in fungi. This is like the overall reproduction in the fungi. Okay, so they reproduce through vegetative reproduction. They reproduce through vegetative reproduction through by what? Fragmentation, fission or budding. So fragmentation is when the fungus, when it breaks into pieces, when it breaks into fragments, okay, and each fragment grows into a new individual, new independent individual. Okay, then there is fission. So here the fungus, what will happen, the parent organism will divide into two daughter cells. Okay, then in budding, what will happen, the parent organism will get a small outgrowth or a bud. Okay, and that bird, after like growing, after becoming an adult, it will detach from the parent fungus. Okay, then asexually they reproduce through spores. They make spores and they reproduce. So these spores are conidia, sporangiospores and zoospores. Now these fungus, what they do is they need a fruiting body. They make a fruiting body, and inside that fruiting body the spores will be produced. Okay, and there are like 4 classes of the fungi. So each class of fungi will have a different fruiting body. Okay, so here spores are conidia, sporangiospores, zoospores. Okay, then sexually they here also they reproduce through spores. These are oospores, ascospores. So ascospores, it is specifically through Ascomycetes, class Ascomycetes. Okay, then Basidiospores is for class Basidiomycetes. Then there are endogenous spores. Spores which are produced inside the sporangia are called as endogenous spores. So these are planospores, zoospores, zygospores. We'll talk about it in the later slides. Exogenous spores are which are produced externally. Okay, exogenous spores are which are produced externally, okay, in the fungus, that is Basidiospores, conidia. Okay, now we'll see asexual reproduction happens through spore formation. This I have already told you. So here there is examples of conidia and sporangiospores. So here if we see, okay, here if we see, first these are the conidia, which are the spores, and they are on something called as, there is a stalk-like structure over here. Okay, this is the mycelium, then there is a stalk-like structure, and these are the conidia. Okay, so here okay, so here there is this stalk-like structure which is the conidiophore, which is called as the conidiophore, and on top, okay, here there are these conidia. Okay, now this conidia, the spores, they will germinate. Okay, and they will form what? They will form mycelium. Then this mycelium will grow into a fungus and the cycle will repeat. Okay, then sporangiospores, talking about sporangiospores, so what will happen here? See, here if we compare, there was conidiophore. The stalk-like structure here was conidiophore, but here it is sporangiophore. Okay, on the top of sporangiophore there is a structure here. Okay, this is the fruiting body. This is what it is, the fruiting body. Okay, here the fruiting body is called as what? Here the fruiting body is called as sporangium. Okay, now sporangium, what will happen inside the sporangia? There are these spores. Okay, then the sporangium will degenerate and the spores will be released. Okay, these spores are called as now sporangiospores because they are inside the sporangia. Okay, so these spores are called as sporangiospores. Now these spores, they will germinate. Okay, they will germinate and grow into a mycelium, and again the cycle will repeat. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Now, sexual reproduction involves oospores, ascospores and basidiospore formation. Okay, these are the spores which are used for sexual reproduction. Then, now sexual cycle involves 3 steps. These are plasmogamy, karyogamy and meiosis. Okay, now what happens here is, first the 2 compatible hyphae, they will come together and fuse. Okay, first step is what? Plasmogamy. So for example, if these are the cells, if these are the gametes, okay, inside the cells what will be there? There will be cytoplasm, right? There will be all the cytoplasm here. Okay, or the protoplasm, we can say, the living material. Okay, so first what will happen? This protoplasm, okay, if we take here, the protoplasm will fuse first the protoplasm will fuse, and if we take, this is the nucleus. Okay, this is the nucleus. So first the protoplasm will fuse. Okay, now the fusion of the protoplasm is called as what? Plasmogamy. Okay, between the motile, 2 motile or non-motile gametes, it is called as what? Plasmogamy. Now plasmogamy is done. Okay, after that what will happen? Once the there is a fusion of the protoplasm, then what will happen? Then there will be the fusion of this, then there is fusion of this nucleus. Okay, then there will be the fusion of the nuclei, and finally a new cell will be produced, Okay, okay, then there is meiosis. Okay, meiosis meaning, here if we see this, this is the new organism, the new cell is formed here. After that, this new organism, it is diploid. Okay, it is diploid meaning it is 2n. Now there is, in biology there is something called as meiosis and mitosis. Okay, meiosis is reductional division and mitosis is equational division. So here the what it is, the cells, they will become less. Okay, meaning here it is 2. Now through meiosis they will be divided into 4 cells. Okay, they will be divided into 4 cells. Okay, so this is how the, okay, so in the second step, that is fusion of the 2 nuclei, it is called as what? Karyogamy. Now what is the meaning of karyogamy? See here, plasmogamy was there, right? So plasmo meaning protoplasm, okay, and gamy meaning fusion. So here there was the fusion of the protoplasm. Okay, now what is the meaning of karyogamy? What I have told you all, that in karyogamy the 2 nucleus will fuse. In the second step, the 2 nucleus will fuse. So it is called as what? Karyogamy. So here the karyogamy meaning, karyo meaning the nucleus, and again gamy meaning what? The fusion. So there is fusion of the 2 nuclei basically. Okay, so this is called as karyogamy, and meiosis is, they will be, this process will happen called as meiosis, and 4 haploid spores will be produced. Okay, now there is a stage called as dikaryon stage. Now sometimes what happens is, after plasmogamy, the 2 nuclei, sometimes they will take a long time to fuse. So they will not directly fuse. Okay, so for some period of time, both the nuclei, they will be just there in the cell. Okay, so this stage is called as dikaryotic stage. The stage is called as what? Dikaryotic stage. And this what it is condition is called as dikaryon. Dikaryon meaning karyon, as I have told you, it is nucleus, and di meaning two. So there are two nucleus inside one cell. So this stage is called as dikaryotic stage, and the condition is called as dikaryon. Okay. Okay. After this, we'll go to the next step. So sexual reproduction involves three steps, that is plasmogamy, karyogamy and meiosis. So in plasmogamy, what happens is there is fusion of the protoplasm between the two motile or non-motile gametes. Then there is karyogamy, which is the fusion of the nuclei. Okay, and then there is meiosis, wherein the zygote, okay, this is our zygote here, which is diploid. Okay, it will undergo meiosis and it will form 4 haploid spores. Okay. Now this funguses, as I had told you earlier, they are classified into 4. They are divided into 4 classes. Now, what are the basis of this? How they are classified? What is the basis of this division? Okay, so they are classified based on morphology of mycelium. So each fungus will have a different mycelium, mode of spore formation. So when I was telling you all about different types of reproduction in fungi, we have seen different types of spores, right? So each class will produce different type of spores. Okay, then fruiting bodies. Okay, so spores are produced where? Spores are produced in the fruiting body. So based on that also they are divided. So based on these 4 categories, okay, that is morphology of mycelium, mode of spore formation and fruiting bodies. Okay, sorry, 3. Based on these 3 categories, the fungi, kingdom fungi, it is divided into 4 classes. Okay, now these 4 classes are Phycomycetes, okay, which is the lower fungi, which is the primitive like fungi. Okay, example here are the common examples. I'll tell you all. Common example here are Rhizopus, Mucor and Albugo. Okay, this is the microscopic view of Rhizopus fungi. Then Ascomycetes. Ascomycetes is also called as sac fungi because its fruiting body looks like a sac. So it is called as what? Sac fungi. Here the common examples are yeast, Aspergillus, Penicillium and Neurospora. So this Aspergillus, have you ever seen like black powder on an onion? Have you ever seen that? So that black powdery thing is Aspergillus fungi. Okay, then Basidiomycetes, it is also called as club fungi. Example here are Agaricus, Puccinia and Ustilago. Okay, so Puccinia, this fungus, it is a disease causing, it is a pathogenic fungus, that is disease causing fungus. So there is a very important disease called as wheat rust, okay, or rust of wheat. So this disease, it is caused by this fungus called as Puccinia, and it has destroyed like many rice crops. It happens in rice crops, so it has destroyed many rice crops. Okay, then Deuteromycetes, the 4th class is Deuteromycetes. It is also called as fungi imperfecti. Now why is it called as fungi imperfecti? Is because its sexual mode of reproduction is still not known. Okay, so that is why it is called as fungi imperfecti. Okay, so here the examples are Coletotrichum, Trichoderma and Fusarium. Okay, here the example. Okay, so in Basidiomycetes, there will be all the mushrooms and all will come in class Basidiomycetes. Okay. Okay, now we'll see each of the classes of the fungi in detail. Okay, so we'll start with class Phycomycetes, which is the lower fungi. Okay, so these are found in aquatic habitats, moist places and on decaying wood. So these are found in what? These are the characters of these fungus, okay, of these class Phycomycetes, okay. So they are found in aquatic habitats, moist places and decaying wood. Then they are obligate parasites on plants. Obligate parasites meaning these organisms, they are entirely dependent upon the host. They are obligate, they are entirely dependent on the host. And who is their host here? Here their host is plants. So they will be entirely dependent upon plants. Then the mycelium is aseptate and cynocytic. Aseptate meaning aseptate and cynocytic is same, right? So here the mycelium will be like a long tube, okay, and it will have nucleus. Will there be septa here? No, it is aseptate, so it will not have the compartments, it will not have the septa. Okay, then asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is through zoospores. Zoospores are the motile spores which move, okay, and planospores are the non-motile spores, okay. Then spores are produced inside sporangia. Spores are produced inside the sporangia, which is the, what is it? Fruiting body. It is the fruiting body here. Then sexual reproduction forms zygospores. Zygospores by fusion of the gametes. So zygote is in sexual reproduction, what is formed is zygote, right? So here there will be zygospores will be formed, okay. So here the gametes may be isogamous. Now what is the meaning of isogamous? Iso meaning similar, okay. So the gametes can be similar also, or they can be dissimilar also, that is anisogamous. They can be dissimilar also, that is anisogamous, okay. Now here the examples are mucor, rhizopus and albugo. So here they have given one example of Rhizopus stolonifer, okay. It is on the bread, okay. This this fungus is seen on the bread. So this is the microscopic view of this fungus, okay. So see here the what it is, stem like structure which connects the 2-3 what it is funguses is called as stolon, okay, and the stalk is called as sporangiophores here. And what is this? These structures are sporangia. These structures are called as what? Sporangia. And inside the sporangia, what is there? Inside the sporangia there are sporangiospores here. See here, it is the sporangia is open and the spores are dispersed here, okay. And there are rhizoids also here. In Rhizopus there are rhizoids also, which are root like structures, but they are not root, okay. They are just the structures which, okay. Then okay, we'll go for the next one. Now we'll come to class Ascomycetes, okay. Class Ascomycetes, they are also called as sac fungi. I had told you, because they are what it is, fruiting body, it looks like a sac, okay. Mostly they are multicellular, but some are unicellular. Example Saccharomyces. So in the beginning I had told you that all the funguses are multicellular, filament and filamentous, except one, which is yeast. So yeast is what? Unicellular, and the scientific name of yeast is Saccharomyces. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is its full name, okay. Saccharomyces is its scientific name, okay. So only this fungus is what? It is unicellular. Only this fungus is unicellular, rest all are multicellular. So they may be saprophytic, decomposers, parasitic or coprophilous. Saprophytic, you know, that is they feed on dead decaying organic matter. Decomposers, that is they decompose the organic material. And parasitic, that is they need a host here. They live on the host and take nutrition from it, okay. That is parasitic. And coprophilous meaning they grow on dung, okay. There are some funguses which grow on cow dung, so they are called as coprophilous. So the funguses which grow on cow dung, they are called as what? Coprophilous. Then here the mycelium is what? Here the mycelium is branched and septate. Okay, so it will be, how will it be? It will be like this, branched, okay, and also septate. So this is the septa, and what will be there inside the septa? Here the nucleus will also be there. Okay, then asexual reproduction occurs through conidia. Okay, and conidia, they are, how they are produced? They are externally produced on conidiophores. Okay, so which is not very clear, but still, here the examples given are aspergillus, which I have told you that it is found on onion. Okay, and there is penicillium. So see here, this is the conidiophore, the stalk-like structure which is called as conidiophore. Okay, here both, these are both examples of what it is, Ascomycetes. Okay, so the spores which you can see here are called as what? They are the conidia. The spores here are called as conidia. And see here, the spores, they will be on a structure like this. There will be a structure like this, and on that the spores will be present like this. Okay, so now this is called as what? Phyllites. Again, it's like a stalk only on which the spores will be present. Okay, and this is the vesicle. Okay, so this is how it looks, and then the conidia will germinate and it will form a mycelium. After that it will be developed into an adult organism. Then sexual spores are here, the sexual spores are called as what? Ascospores, and ascospores will be born on SI. Here the fruiting body, SI are arranged in fruiting bodies called, sorry, SI are the, so here, okay, we'll clean this. So here SI, these will be the SI, okay, and on the SI there will be the sex like this. Okay, so this is what? This is the SI. Okay, these are the esocarps. Esocarps, okay, which is the fruiting body. So esocarp is the fruiting body. So esocarp is the fruiting body. Yeah, then what will be inside the, sorry, what will be inside the esocarp? There will be the ascospores. Okay, the spores here are called as what? The spores are called as ascospores. The spores here are called as ascospores. Okay, so this is example, this is how sexual reproduction happens in the Ascomycetes. Okay, here the examples are, Penicillium, Aspergillus, Claviceps, and Neurospora. Okay, so Neurospora, it is like a model organism. It is used for many experiments, okay, biochemical and genetic studies. It is used for, it is like a model organism, basically model fungus, which is used for many experiments. And there are some members of Ascomycetes which are edible. We can eat them. These are morels and truffles. Okay, these are edible members of Ascomycetes. Okay, then we'll come to Basidiomycetes. Basidiomycetes, example here are mushrooms. The most common example here are mushrooms. Okay, then bracket fungi. Bracket fungi we can see on the logs of the, like the old trees which are there. We can see on them logs, wooden logs. Okay, or we can see on the tree stumps, meaning when the trees, when we cut them off and whatever is left on that also we can see bracket fungi. Okay, and puffballs. Puffballs, they look like cupcake. Okay, their structure, they're just like, they're mushrooms, but they look like a cupcake like this. Okay, so these are the puffballs, examples of what it is, Basidiomycetes. So everything will be everything will come over here. Okay, they are also called as club fungi because they look like that structure. Okay, they are found in soil, they are found in soil, logs, tree stumps, and also plants. On some barks of plants they will be seen. Okay, then some are parasites. Okay, some are parasites. I had told you all about what it is, Puccinia, right? So Puccinia, it causes rust disease, and some other fungus, Ustilago, causes smuts. Smuts meaning they will form balls like structure on the what it is on the on the plants and all. So they will form like these structures, black color structures on the plants, which are so they are pathogenic basically. Okay, here their mycelium is branched and septed. Okay, a sexual mode of reproduction is absent here, and vegetative reproduction happens through fragmentation, wherein the fungus, it breaks into fragments and each fragment grows into a new individual. Okay, then here the sex organs are absent. Sex organs are absent. Plasmogamy happens through vegetative cells. Okay, vegetative cells are the ones which are only related to like the vegetative parts. For example, if we take example of plants, okay, all the leaves, then stem, okay, they are all vegetative parts, okay, roots and all. But if we take a flower is what? It is a reproductive part of the plant. Okay, like that here also plasmogamy will take place through the vegetative cells. Then dikaryotic stage is formed here. What was dikaryotic stage? When in one cell there will be two nucleus. Okay, it is called as dikaryotic stage. Then basidium. So here also like the fruiting body which we had seen in Ascomycetes, here also there will be what? Basidium produces 4 basidiospores. So basically it will be like here there will be gills like structure here. If you have seen a mushroom, okay, so in that mushroom okay, so here if you have seen a mushroom, okay, down the mushroom there will be some gill like structure. So inside there will be this basidiospores. Okay, so basidium produces 4 basidiospores. So like that okay, wait, so here if I draw and show you, this is the basidiocarp. Here only I'll show you. This is the basidiocarp. Basidiocarp. This is the basidiocarp. Okay, and okay, so sorry, we'll draw it again. Okay, okay, so see, if I draw a mushroom over here, okay, the names of the structure of the mushrooms are different. Okay, I'm just explaining you with respect to basidia and all. Okay, so this is called as, this is the basidium. Okay, this is the basidium. Okay, and this is the basidiocarp, wherein which is the fruiting body, basidiocarp. This is the basidiocarp. Okay, now inside the basidiocarp there will be spores. So here the spores will be present over here, okay, and the fruiting body is called as basidiocarp. The fruiting body wherein the spores are produced, it is called as what? Basidiocarp. Okay, and the spores which are produced is, so one basidiocarp will produce only 4 basidiospores. 4 basidiospores. Okay, now the examples of and here, okay, one thing I forgot to tell you all, that the basidiospores are produced externally. So is it like inside that? No, right? So outside, down there in the gills it is produced. Okay, so example here are Agaricus, Ustilago, Puccinia. Okay, Puccinia is, I have told you, it is powder like, there will be brown powder which is formed, which is a pathogenic fungus. Okay, then okay, I have told you about Puccinia. Okay, so we'll go for the next class, which is Deuteromycetes. Okay, now Deuteromycetes is called as fungi imperfecti. So now why is it called as fungi imperfecti? Is because it only asexual or vegetative stage is known of this class of fungus. Okay, only asexual or vegetative stage is known, and sexual mode of reproduction is not known. Okay, so they are called as imperfect fungi. Sexual stage is actually, it was discovered later and it was moved to some other proper classes. Okay, so mostly it is shifted to Ascomycetes, but still in our in NCERT still it is given, okay, like this only, so we are covering it. So mostly it is shifted to Ascomycetes or Basidiomycetes. Then they reproduce by asexual spores called as Conidia, which I had shown you all. Okay, and here the mycelium is branched and septate. They are mostly saprophytes or parasites, and they are important decomposers, and as they are important decomposers, they help in recycling the nutrients, okay, minerals. Then here the important examples are Alternaria, Choledotrichum and Trichoderma. Okay, so here I have put one example of Alternaria alternata. It is one species. Okay, so here under the microscope, if we see it on a plate, okay, if you take that fungus, if you grow it in the lab, okay, and if you see it, it will look like something like this green powdery structure. And if you take some powder on a slide, okay, and if you observe it under a microscope, you will see structure like this. Okay, we'll go for the next slide. Now here they have given comparison between all the all the classes of the fungi. Okay, so here is the criteria, and here description of each of the fungus is given. So asexual reproduction, in if we see in Phycomycetes, it is the spores are produced endogenously here, meaning the spores are produced inside the fruiting body. These are zoospores and are aplanospores. So zoospores are motile, they can move, they can go from one place to another, and aplanospores are non-motile. Okay, they are non-motile. Then if we see of Ascomycetes, here they will be produced, sexual spores produced are Conidia, and they are produced exogenously. So here in Phycomycetes they are produced endogenously, and in Ascomycetes they are produced exogenously. Okay, then in Basidiomycetes they are generally not found, but vegetatively by so asexual spores are not found, but they reproduce vegetatively through fragmentation. And here in Deuteromycetes they produce Conidia, asexual spores are Conidia. Okay, if we talk about sexual reproduction in Phycomycetes, zygospore is formed. When there is fusion of the two gametes, zygospores are formed. Okay, in Ascomycetes, sexual reproduction in Ascomycetes, here ascospores are formed. Okay, and where these ascospores were formed? In the fruiting body called as, what is the fruiting body called in ascospores? It is called as SI. Okay, so here in the SI the ascospores are formed, which is in turn are arranged on, okay, the spores are produced in SI. SI is the what it is? SI is the SI, which in turn are arranged in fruiting bodies called azocarp. So as I shown you all, azocarp and SI, and inside there are what? There were what? Ascospores. Okay, so this is the ascocarp and this is the SI. This whole thing will be SI. Okay, This whole thing will be Si, and inside there will be ascospores. And in Basidiomycetes, what? The sex organs are absent. Sexual spores produced are basidiospores, which are produced on basidium inside the basidiocarps. Okay. Then in Deuteromycetes, sexual reproduction is absent, and that is why they are called as fungi imperfecti or fungi imperfect. Then habitat, if we see, then Phycomycetes, they are found in aquatic habitats and on decaying wood or as obligate parasites on plants. Then Ascomycetes, they are coprophilous. What I had told about coprophilous is they grow on cow dung. Okay, then they are saprophytic, decomposers or parasitic. Okay, then Basidiomycetes, they grow in soil, on logs and tree stumps. Okay, or parasites, example rust and smut. So rust and smut is basically the diseases which they cause. Okay, and Deuteromycetes, they are saprophytes. They feed on dead decaying matter and they grow on dead decaying matter, or they are parasites. They need a host to live on to survive, and some of them are decomposers, and as they are decomposers, they help in mineral cycling. Okay, then if we talk about mycelium, okay, here in Phycomycetes, the what it is, the mycelium is aseptate and cynocytic. If we see in all the other what it is classes, okay, it is branched and septate, okay. In only Phycomycetes, the mycelium is aseptate and cynocytic, and all the other classes, it is what? It is branched and septate. So here they are multicellular and unicellular also separately. Okay, rarely unicellular. Which is the only unicellular fungus? It is the yeast. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Example, the common example which I had told you all, in Phycomycetes it is mucor, rhizopus, which is found on the bread mold, and albugo, which is the parasitic fungi on mustard. Okay, specifically it is the parasitic fungus on mustard. So if you see mustard leaves, the white patches on that is the fungus albugo. Okay, Ascomycetes, Aspergillus, claviceps, Neurospora. Okay, Aspergillus is found on onion, which I had told you, blackish powder, blackish or brownish powder which is found. Okay, then Neurospora, it is the model organism used for biochemical and genetic studies. Morels and truffles are the edible fungus, and penicillium, it is used as a source of antibiotic. Okay, Basidiomycetes, which is club fungi, here the examples are agaricus. Agaricus is a mushroom. Okay, it is a mushroom. Then Ustilago, it causes disease called as smuts. Okay, Puccinia, it is parasitic. Puccinia is parasitic, it causes disease rust. And bracket fungi, this you might have seen on the bracket fungi on tree stumps and all. Okay, or barks of trees and all. And puff balls, which look like a cupcake, which I have told you. Okay, and Deuteromycetes, examples of Deuteromycetes are Alternaria, Coletotrichum and Trichoderma. Okay, now we'll go to kingdom Plantae. So here we do not need to know more, okay, because in the next chapter, that is plant kingdom, we'll be learning in detail about this kingdom Plantae. Okay, earlier in the NCERT, lot of matter was given on this topic, but now it has been reduced. Okay, so we'll just go through it overall. We'll just see overall what is there. Okay, and we'll not go deep into it. So kingdom Plantae, it will include all the chlorophyll containing eukaryotic plants, meaning all the plants basically, and plants are eukaryotic, okay, they will have true nucleus, and mostly they are obviously autotrophic, that is they perform photosynthesis and they can prepare their own food. Okay, some are partially heterotrophic, meaning some will be dependent upon other organisms. Like if we see insectivorous plant, have you ever seen Venus flytrap? This is example of, this is Venus flytrap. Okay, so what they do is, their structure is like this. Okay, so if anything comes over here, any organism, okay, comes over here, what it will do, it will just close. Okay, and then it will kill that organism and it will use it as a nutrient, as a nutrition for itself, okay, to grow. Okay, another example is bladderwort. Then we see parasitic plant, which is cuscuta. Okay, this is the example of cuscuta. This is the cuscuta plant. Okay, if you see this plant depends on the other plant. So what it does is, it finds a host and it just wraps around that host. If you see in this picture, it just wraps around that host and it will take all its nutrition. Okay, so why will it be like a parasitic plant? Because if you say it is yellow in color, so it doesn't have a chlorophyll, it doesn't have chlorophyll pigment. So as it doesn't have a chlorophyll pigment, it cannot perform photosynthesis, so obviously it will have to depend upon something. So it will find a host and it will take all its nutrition. Okay, plant cells have eukaryotic structure, okay, chloroplast and cellulose cell wall. So their cell wall is made up of cellulose. If we see in fungi, the cell wall of fungi is made up of chitin. Okay, the cell wall of fungi is made up of chitin. Okay, here the example. Okay, so it will include kingdom Plantae, will include algae, bryophytes. These are all the divisions. Okay, algae, bryophyte, pteridophytes. We'll see all this in detail in the next chapter. And it shows life cycle, its life cycle shows alteration of generation, meaning there will be one phase and then there will be other phase. Okay, so the two phases are diploid phase and the second phase is haploid phase, that which I had shown you, 2 and haploid spores. Okay, phases alternate with each other, so they can show diploid and after that they can show haploid stages. Okay, we'll see all this in detail in the next chapter, so I'm not going in detail. So next is the kingdom Animalia. Okay, kingdom Animalia, so all the multicellular eukaryotic organism will be included in kingdom Animalia. So this topic, it will be also covered in the fourth chapter, that is kingdom Animalia. Sorry, animal kingdom. Okay, so I will not go in detail in this topic also. And animal cells do not have a cell wall, this we know. They are heterotrophic. We also come in animal kingdom. Okay, so we are heterotrophic, right? We depend upon others, for other organisms for our food. Okay, they depend directly or indirectly on plants for their food, and here the food is digested inside the body cavity. So we take in the food, we ingest the food, then we digest it. So the mode of nutrition here is holozoic. Okay, and other heterotrophic and holozoic. Okay, food reserves stored as glycogen here. Okay, in plants the food is stored as what? In plants the food is stored as starch. Okay, and in animals the food is stored as glycogen or fat. Nutrition is holozoic, as I have told you all. Nutrition is holozoic, meaning we ingest the food and then we digest it. Okay, so nutrition is holozoic. They show definite growth pattern, shape and size. Okay, will grow up to a particular height, right? We will not keep on growing, right? So we show a particular growth pattern, shape and size. Some plants, they will keep on growing, right? So not like, so unlike them, we have a definite growth pattern. Higher animals have advanced sensory and neuromotor skills. Okay, we can talk, we can do things, so we have sensory and neuromotor skills. Most animals can move from one place to another. Okay, we are not stationary. Are we like plants? Do we stay at one place only? No, right? We can move from one place to another. Okay, so we can move. Sexual reproduction occurs through fusion of male and female gametes followed by the embryonic development, okay, wherein the embryo is formed. Okay, so after that there are viruses. After that there are viruses. So in R.H. Whittaker's system, was there viruses mentioned in R.H. Whittaker's 5 kingdom of classification? No, right? So he did not give any place to lichens, viruses, viroids and prions. Okay, so they have been put separately over here in the NCERT textbook. Okay, so viruses are non-cellular, so they are not like a cell. They are not actually they are not considered living or non-living. So when they are like outside the host body, they are non-living. Okay, when they are outside the host body, they are non-living, they are just there. Okay, but once they are inside the host body, they will keep on multiplying and they will hijack the host body. Okay, viruses are non-cellular, they are characterized by having an inert crystalline structure outside the living organism. So if you see, outside the living organism, outside their host, they are just inert crystalline structure, meaning they will be just there like a crystal of sugar. Okay, can it do anything to us? No, right? It is just there. Okay, but they are viruses will be like a crystal, okay, outside the host body, but once they are inside the host body, they will just multiply and take up over the cell machinery. Viruses contain either RNA or DNA. They cannot have both. Okay, so they will contain either RNA or DNA. They will not have both. Bacterial viruses usually have double-stranded. DS is double-stranded, meaning they will have 2 strands. Okay, double-stranded DNA. Viruses that infect plants generally have single-stranded DNA. Okay, now see, bacterial viruses have double-stranded DNA. Okay, viruses that infect plants they have single-stranded RNA. Okay, so the ones which are which infect bacteria are called as have double-stranded DNA, and the ones which infect plants have single-stranded RNA. Okay, now on the virus, if we see the structure of the virus, okay, there will be a protein structure which is called as capsid. There will be a protein structure, protein coat, which is called as, there will be a protein coat which is called as capsid on the body of the virus. Okay, and it is made of what? Capsomeres. So this is the capsid and it is made of what? Capsomeres, meaning many units of the protein. Okay, and basically all these things will be protect the RNA, the genetic material. Okay, this is about the viruses. Okay, so now the word virus was given, the name virus was given by Pasteur. Okay, recognized by D.J. Ivanovsky. Okay, it was demonstrated by M.W. Benjerick. Viruses cause diseases in animals as well as plants. They cause mumps, smallpox, herpes and influenza in animals. So all these examples are okay, see, these examples are only for animals. These are the diseases which are caused by the viruses in animals. Okay, plants they have not mentioned here. And this is a tobacco mosaic virus. Okay, this is a tobacco mosaic virus, TMV. Viroids. So if we see here, what this scientist did was he took he saw this virus in some of the plant. Okay, in I think tobacco mosaic tobacco plant. Okay, he took that plant. Okay, he crushed it, he made a paste like an extract, and then he sprayed it on the other plants to see like if that other plants will also get harmed, they will also catch this disease, and he was successful, and he saw that he demonstrated, right? So he saw that it was causing, it was yeah, it was causing diseases to other this also, what it is, other plants also. Okay. Okay, so if we talk about this virus, okay, this is bacteriophage, meaning this organism, this virus, it only infects bacteria. It only infects bacteria, and it is called as bacteriophage. Okay, so just I wanted to tell you all about this. Now viroids, okay, it was discovered by the scientist T.O. Dinner. Okay, it was found to be free RNA, meaning it did not have a RNA, devoid of protein code. Okay, so now it was also like a virus, but it did not have a RNA, and it also, so viruses, as I had told you, they had a protein code which was called as what? Capsid. But these organisms, when they found these organisms, they found that they did not have this protein code. Okay, so as they did not have a protein code, they called them as viroids. Okay, so now the disease which this viroids caused was spindle tuber disease, potato spindle tuber disease. Okay, then we'll go to the next one, which are prions. So these are abnormally folded proteins. Okay, these are the proteins which are not like properly folded. Okay, and they are similar in size to viruses. They are similar. Okay, so they are same in size to viruses. They cause bovine spongiform encephalopathy, BSE, commonly called as mad cow disease. Okay, in cattle. Okay, so basically here the what it is, brain is damaged. Okay, brain is damaged here of the cattles, and so here what will happen is it makes the brain like a sponge. It takes all its everything, it destroys its brain. Okay, and it makes it like a sponge, so that's why it is called as bovine spongiform encephalopathy. It is also called as, it is commonly called as mad cow disease. Okay, and its analogous variant CR Jacob disease, called as CR Jacob disease, CJD disease. Okay, this disease is caused in animals. So these prions, they are abnormally folded proteins, and they are similar in size to viruses, and they are commonly called as mad cow disease. And this mad cow disease, it happens in, it is caused in the cattle, and its scientific name is this bovine spongiform encephalopathy. Okay, BSE, and in humans it causes CR Jacob disease. Okay. Okay, then we come to lichens. Lichens are symbiotic association between the algae and the fungi. So here the algae and the fungi, they are like the best friends. They are just like stuck to each other. See here, behind there is, this is the algae part. Okay, and this is the fungus part. So together they make this. This is a lichen. Okay, together they make this the lichen. Okay, the algal component is phycobiont. So algal component is called as phycobiont. Phycology is the study of algae, and it is autotrophic. So algae they have chlorophyll, right? So they can perform photosynthesis. And fungal component is mycobiont. Fungal component is what? It is mycobiont, that is, it is heterotrophic. These fungal component, they will depend on the phycobiont, which is the algae. Okay, then lichens, they are pollution indicators, meaning wherever there is pollution, lichens don't grow in that places. Okay, so that is why they are called as pollution indicators Okay, they do not grow in polluted areas, and they, as I have told you all, they do not grow in polluted areas. Okay, with that we finish with our 11th biology second chapter, that is uh, that is biological classification. I hope you all have understood everything. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching today's video. This was it for today's video, and I'll see you there. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, like, share, and subscribe to the Bodhi Academy. Thank you so much.